Greetings, Bat Family, and welcome to Holy BatCast, brought to you by real fans for real movies. You can find us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast, you'll find us. And if you're a fan of the show and you want to support us in other ways, you can do that on Patreon. No pressure, you don't have to, but it's an option. You can go to patreon.com/HolyBatCast. And as always, a big thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. Y'all support us out of the kindness of your heart, and it does not go unappreciated. Does not go. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So thank you guys. Really do appreciate it. We're part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out those shows at rf4rm.com. And finally, I'm your Bat host, Andy DiGenova. Hi. You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. This episode, we're doing something fun, something random, something easy. Let's just be honest. We're all friends here. We're going to talk about our favorite Batman music themes. Easiest list to make in the world. I mean, I guess there was a little internal debate because there are so many good ones, but I like that. And joining me to talk some great Batman music, it's our old pal, Brendan Lowe. Hey, Brendan, welcome back.
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm good. I'm a little sunburned, but I'll be fine. I was out in the sun today, and I didn't think I would get sunburned, but now I am. I've got a little healthy glow going.
Okay. Well, I haven't seen the sun here for a couple of days, so lucky you.
Well, you're out there, waiting for a storm that may not ever come.
Well, apparently it's not, so...
Yay!
Yeah, and ironically, Cyclone Alfred, so there's a Batman link there. But yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
almost a week, we've been told to brace for this cyclone that's meant to be hitting us. And the thing that's different about it is cyclones on the Queensland coast don't normally come down this far. They usually hit up north.
Mm-hmm.
They don't usually hit, Brisbane and the coast where it's so densely populated and everything. So, yeah, it's been like end of days the last, pretty much since Monday. And, panic buying and places closed. Honestly, it's been like COVID 2.0.
Oh my God.
Since Thursday, stores and schools have been closed and everything. And it was meant to hit us on Thursday night originally. And then it moved to Friday morning. Then it moved to Friday night. Then it moved to early Saturday morning. So today. Last night we went to bed completely prepared. Everything's sandbagged, locked down. We're all good. 11 o'clock last night, the wind was howling and like bucketing rain. And it's just like, man, this is kind of scary. And, it's not really meant to hit us for another, 10 or 11 hours. Like if this is what it's like now, oh my God, what's it going to be like in, that time? And I woke up this morning to find out that he's no longer a cyclone. He's a tropical low and it's just going to be a lot of rain, which is weirdly anticlimactic and disappointing in a way. It's like, man, I've been prepping for a cyclone. I've never been through one before. Like, it'd be cool to say, hey, I've lived through a cyclone. No, the issue now is with if there is a lot of rain, there could be flooding like there was 3 years ago. But we'll see what happens. So far, the rain that they predicted hasn't eventuated either. Not where I am, at least. Anyway, other parts have been pretty battered, but we're okay for now. So, Alfred, you prick. you teased us and you edged us, and there's been no payoff.
Yeah. I like that it's Cyclone Alfred because I want like fan art of Cyclone from Black Adam making out with Alfred.
Okay. Fair enough.
A little, what is it? A May-December romance between Alfred and
just
Cyclone?
A little
bit. Well, I'm glad you're okay. And I get it because, we live that life with hurricanes in Florida. And so now welcome to the party. But yeah, you prep. And more often than not, it is a little anticlimactic. But hey, last time we had a hurricane here, we had a kid. So,
yeah, I know.
Like what if the cyclone hit and all of a sudden you guys ended up with another kid? That would have been crazy.
That'd
so
be weird,
Yeah, you haven't even set up the crib. So like,
no, I don't know how that'd happen right now. But anyway.
Well, cool. So yeah, I mean, we're busy here with trying to finish work and all that good stuff. And of course, balancing the two kids. And, that's why I use my magic mind. I'll tell you, I think I said on the last one is like, sometimes I remember to take it. Sometimes I do not, because it just depends on how hectic the morning is with getting the kids ready for daycare. And I'll tell you, I can tell the difference between the days where I have my Magic Mind on my drive and the other days are all like, crap, I forgot it today. Because it really does help, because it's a mental performance shot. I've been calling it a focus shot. Same basic idea where, it just helps you focus. It's not an energy shot, but it just helps you focus, keeps your brain working a little better, and really helps me out as I've been trying to get this work done. And now they've got the sleep shot too to help with more peaceful sleep. So I just need to get better about grabbing it in the morning. Just need to put a post-it on the fridge or something of like, don't forget your Magic Mind. It is better in the fridge, by the way. So anyway, for anybody out there who hasn't tried it yet, you can do that. As always, we have a promo code that could help you out if you want to put Magic Mind and integrate it into your daily routine. You can go to magicmind.com/Holy BatCast 20. So that code has changed from last time. Last time it was Holy 20. Now it's Holy BatCast 20. Or if you just go there when you go to checkout, you can do Holy BatCast 20. You can save up to 48% on a subscription or 20% off on just a regular purchase. Give it a shot. If you like it, again, I am very happy on the days that I remember to grab it in the morning. It just gives me that extra focus. So when I get to work, I can just be super productive. And yeah, like it's all natural, and they're so confident with their products that if you don't like it, you can return it for a money back guarantee. So I've been happy with Magic Mind, and again, with balancing the kids and crunch time for work, it's nice to have that little extra help, and I appreciate it. So I mean, to the point where we didn't know we were recording today because things have been so crazy, and then we managed to make it happen, Brendan.
Yes,
At the
because
last minute.
I thought I'd be without power and bunkered down and everything, and then this morning it's like, hey, do you still want to record? Because I can't go anywhere. Like, there's still the stay-at-home warning and nothing's open, but I got nothing but time at the moment, my friend.
I take advantage of it. And as luck would have it, my mother-in-law's back in town. So I have a lot less guilt with being like, oh, I'm going to go podcast for an hour or two because I know Catherine's got backup.
And you got a lot less trouble finding things now too.
Oh, you know it. Get ready for some pictures, Brendan. Get ready.
That's very much an in joke.
I'll tell y'all. Between just you, me, and everyone listening. I mean, you already know Brendan, but my mother-in-law, wonderful woman, love her to death. She labels everything.
Guys, it's so funny. He's not exaggerating.
It's hilarious. I send pictures of labels to Jamie and Brendan, and Jamie thinks I'm making it up, but nope. Every single one, 100% accurate. So yeah, I'll be able to share some wonderful labels soon. But anyway, I am glad she's here. I can always use the backup again, with the kids. We love them, but it's a lot. It's exhausting. So it's nice to have that. And I'm glad because then you and I can sit down, nerd out about Batman for a little bit. But because this was something of a last minute decision, we were like, well, crap, we didn't have time to prep for anything. We didn't have time to read anything or watch anything. Like we were literally figuring it out an hour ago while I was eating dinner. This is my life. I was eating a taco with one hand, holding Harley with the other while she was like putting a necklace on me and also trying to text you and figure out what we were doing.
That sounds about right.
That is 100% the truth. And so what we came to is music. Batman themes. Batman's got a lot of great music over the years. He certainly has a lot of distinctive, memorable themes. And this has been on my to-do list. And I was like, oh, actually, that's a pretty easy one. And fortunately, you were down.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm always down.
I know you are, and I appreciate that. So let's talk Batman music, and we want to share our top 5 Batman themes. And I said it was an easy list to make, which it is. But the thing that was hard about it was I was like, oh, like there are like 2 or 3 that I wanted to include that just didn't quite make it because we're only doing 5. And so that's always the tricky part is like, oh, which one's really better? It's hard to say because there are a lot of great ones. And so there are some that I had to leave off my list, but hopefully maybe they'll be on yours and we can get it covered regardless. But I guess that's just the embarrassment of riches of being a Batman fan. Lots of great Batman themes over the years.
Absolutely.
Did you have a hard time narrowing it down?
Not so much narrowing it down. It was more which to include. If like I pretty much had 4 straight off the top of my head of just like, okay, yep. But it was trying to sort of whittle to just get that fifth one in there, because you pointed out to me that the animated series theme and the Danny Elfman theme can't be two separate ones. So I was just like, oh, all right, Dad. So I had to think of a fifth one.
I mean, you can do what you want, but it's essentially the same theme.
I mean, it's different enough, but I do understand what you're saying. That's why I asked, because it's just like, we counting those as two, because it's two different composers, but she samples Elfman. Like, yeah.
I mean, here's the other thing. I almost feel like it would be better to start at number 1 and work our way down to number 5.
Because we all know what number 1's going to be.
Because we all know what number 1 is. Like, it's very hard to surprise you with that. And you even said, you're like, well, that's easy. I'm like, I know, but like, this isn't to surprise you. Number 1 is number 1. Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, number 1, I know will not be shocking. It won't be a hot take, but oh well. But we got 5. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you first bite of the apple here, my friend. What is your number 5?
Well, with my 4, I didn't have any animated themes in there. And I really want to make sure I got an animated theme in there. So that's where I was having difficulty of, which one do I go with? Because there's lots of great animated themes, even including, the direct-to-DVD animated movies and things like that. But when it came down to it, the one I've chosen it's the biggest earworm out of all of them. And it jumps into my mind more than any of the other ones. And that's the Batman Brave and the Bold theme by Andy Sturmer. It's awesome.
I love it. I love it. That was one that I was mad I couldn't include. So boom, love it.
Yeah, and like I said, it's such an earworm. Like, even just talking about it now, like, I've got the whole theme running through my head. And like I said to Jess, I was just like, I think I'm going to go with the Brave and the Bold theme. And she's like, is that one? And she like hummed the whole thing perfectly. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, and that's why I'm picking it, because it, like, I don't dislike the, the Edges theme from the Batman and stuff like that. But it's, yeah, it always comes back to me with like, what will always put it above the other ones is it is such an earworm. It's such a catchy tune. Mm-hmm. And it's so fun as well. And it's a blast. And I really, really dig it. So my number 5 is the Brave and the Bold theme.
That's great. I love it. A little unexpected, but in a good way. Because, yeah, it's one that I don't think that a lot of fans would immediately think of. But then when you say it, it's like, oh, yeah, it's super catchy. It's super memorable. It's a great choice.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's the only animated one on your list?
Yeah.
Because I really thought you would have the Edges, the Batman theme on yours.
No.
Wow. Because that's another one that didn't quite make mine, but I was like, oh, it'll be fine. Brendan will have it.
And see, that's the thing. I like it. I like it quite a bit. But yeah, I had to go with Brave and the Bold over it, because as cool as it is, it doesn't get stuck in my head. Like, I don't walk around humming it or thinking of it really. Like, it's cool when the opening credits are on, but it doesn't stick with me after that.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, cool. The Brave and the Bold. Starting off a little unexpected. Our bottom ones will be more unexpected, because I feel like as you get to the top, it starts becoming very memorable, or
yes,
very, very predictable. But that's fine. My number 5 is also animation.
Nice.
And I wonder how you're going to feel about this one. Okay. It is the theme from Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
I feel fine about it because that was one I was tossing up putting in there.
Because it's not the theme from the show.
No, it's not.
It is very much its own thing, composed by the late great Shirley Walker, R.I.P. Rest in power. What a genius she was, and yeah, for her doing such a unique and interesting orchestration for the Batman animated film, that music over those opening credits, I just think it's beautiful. It's haunting. That choir is so
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, like, and again, it wasn't one that immediately popped to mind, which is why it's number 5. But then as I was looking at my list, and then fortunately I have a playlist that is more or less Batman themes. I call it Batman's Best. So it includes all the themes, but it also includes some of my favorite other tracks. And as I was looking at that, just to make sure I wasn't missing anything, I was like, oh, Mask of the Phantasm, of course. Because just like, yeah, that is just such a cool and unique piece that is so special to that film. But as soon as I thought of it, I was like, oh, that's a good one.
It's funny that you looked at I went into my shelf. It was like looking at the physical movies of like, yeah.
Oh, the movies. Okay. I was like CDs or
No,
do you
no,
have
no,
them all?
no. The actual movies on my shelf.
Okay. Do you have them all in vinyl?
No, no, no. I mean, I have pretty much all the live action ones apart from Batman Returns and The Batman.
All right. Good.
Hmm.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'm just thinking, is this my, I think this is my only animated choice. Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Shirley Walker.
Great stuff.
It is. All right, what's your number 4, my friend?
My number 4 is, going back to where it all started, kicking it old school. It's the Batman 66 theme by Neil Hefti.
Hey.
I mean, it's got to be in there, right?
Yeah.
It can't not be. And I mean, not a million miles, I guess, from The Brave and the Bold, but I mean, for years and years and years and years being a kid, even into the teen years and stuff like that, you mentioned Batman, there's always going to be one person that's like, no, 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 no. Like, it just, they sort of went hand in hand for a really, really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm sure Michael Uslan loved. But
actually, fun fact, very little known fact, but Michael Uslan didn't like the 60s show.
What?
Yeah, I know.
I've never heard him talk about it. Ever.
Yeah, it's pretty on the down low, but I'm telling you, between friends, he didn't like it.
Wow. My mind's blown.
Yep,
but,
there you go.
I mean, look, it's classic. It's what, I mean, it was the signature tune of Batman for the longest time, and for a few generations, it still is. I think, I mean, it's our number 1 is obviously what I think people our age and younger think of, but people older than us, I mean, it's got to be that Neil Hefti theme. It's classic, and I don't think, whether you like the song or not, I don't think you can have a top 5 Batman themes list and not have it in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, actually, fun fact, it was played at my wedding reception.
Oh, really?
Yes. Did you know the where you get the garter off the bride's leg? Yeah. The 60s Batman theme played while I stuck my head under Jess's dress and retrieved it. Actually, funny story. My best man James, we had it teed up, so I went to go under, and he ran in from the crowd. And Jess, and I knew this would happen. Jess was just, her mind was like, "What the James better not be going up there to get this thing, But James ran in and gave me, those little headlamps that you can wear.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
he gave me a headlamp to put on and wear to go up there, and then retrieved the garter and came out with it between my teeth. And yeah, the '60s Batman theme was playing while I did that.
Wow. What was the choice? I don't what was the connection between Batman 66 and you getting the garter?
It
Or you
just
just couldn't find another spot for it?
it was just to have that touch of Batman in there, because we walked into the reception to the James Bond theme. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, it was to have that touch of Batman in the because the wedding party walked into the Christopher Reeve Superman theme.
Mhm.
We walked into the James Bond theme, and it was to have that touch of Batman in there. And it's like, I mean, it's a '60s theme, so it's fun, it's campy, and that's sort of a fun, silly part of the night. So it's like, yeah, that works. So that's why we played the '60s theme for that.
All right. Fun. Random but fun.
Hmm,
Cool. So the TV show Batman 66
correct.
classic theme. Okay. My number 4, I am going very modern, and I am going to go with Michael Giacchino's The Batman theme.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
That surprises me.
I think it's a damn good Batman theme. I really do. On a recent episode not that long ago, someone even said, "Well, I know you don't love the movie, but like, did you like Giacchino's score?" Oh, you were there. I remember because you're like, I haven't listened to it as much as I would have liked. And I think the score is good, but I think the theme is the best part of the score, because it does feel very Batman, and yet it's very unique to that version. And yeah, I think Giacchino did a really great job of reimagining a new Batman theme, especially coming off of so many previous iconic Batman themes. So yeah, I actually really do like the Giacchino theme.
Wow, that's it. Honestly, it's one of my least favorites, and it's not because of the movie. It just doesn't. To me, it's just a bit, dun 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 dun. Like it's, yeah. Anyway, but it's a bit simple. Um, but no, menus at restaurants are just.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would not have picked you having that one in your top five.
Well, surprise. Yeah, I do like it. I will say I like the soundtrack version better than like the demo version that they did with the suit reveal.
Yeah,
Remember this? Remember that? Like
I do.
I much prefer the fully orchestrated version. Um, but I mean, like not to give anything away, like I didn't choose the BVS Batman theme because I feel like it's just too simple and kind of angry. The dun 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 dun. It's just too much.
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah. So spoilers. It's not on my list for that very reason. So I understand what you're saying, but I feel like Giacchino found a way to make it a lot more melodic and memorable. And again, you go, okay, like it sounds like Batman, but it's not. But it's still unique. It's its own thing, which I
Hmm.
appreciate.
Both though, the BVS version and the Batman version, I don't really rank either of them that high. Like, to me, they're not ones that you can kind of you can you can hum. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I know that might be a weird benchmark, but yeah, like they're not ones that, like I said before with Brave and the Bold, like to me, they don't get stuck in your head, and they're not ones that you can sort of hum along to.
Mhm.
Whereas the other ones you very much can. So yeah, but hey, your list, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I certainly did consider all options, but I'm like, no, like that one is super. I do think it is memorable. Like again, not to your point is like it's not an earworm, but no, like yeah, that one stands out to me.
Nice.
Um, all right, that brings us to number 3.
Number 3 for me, probably this one's not going to be a surprise. It's the Elliot Goldenfall theme from Batman Forever / Batman and Robin. To me, regardless of what you think of either of those movies, that theme, independent of the movies, is a really good superhero score, like really good superhero march and theme, and it's very Batman. It it was the first one to follow on from that iconic Danny Elfman theme, and I enjoyed it when I was 11. I still enjoy it now, and yeah, I really I the complete scores for those movies aren't that great, but I do really like that Batman theme that he came up with.
Mhm.
I thought it was great.
I'm so shocked it's on your list. I can't believe it. I will agree with you. Like I think I've said before, like those scores get a little like they get weird.
Yes.
The theme is the best part of those
Oh,
scores.
absolutely.
It's not on my list because I always felt like it felt like we want the Danny Elfman theme, but we don't want to pay rights to Danny Elfman. So just do it different enough so we don't have to pay him. So that's why it's never really stood out to me. But again, like I understand your love for those movies or that
That
movie.
movie.
Uh,
I always
um,
love that quote too. I can't remember where it was from, but where he said that in his mindset when he was writing it, he was picturing being a child playing with action figures, and like what would the theme in a child's head be playing with Batman and Robin and stuff like that? Like, what would that sound like? And that's dun, 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 dun. That's how he sort of came up with it,
mhm.
which I thought was really cool. It was a different way of looking at it, and I mean, I guess it goes along with the whole toyetic thing of those movies. But you know, when he was doing the theme, that wasn't, a lot of that's in hindsight. But yeah, I just thought it was a really cool story and a cool way to come up with a heroic superhero theme. Is like, what would a kid be humming when playing with action figures? So
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, yeah, like like you said, it's your list, so it's all good. And I don't dislike it. It's just I don't have as much affection for it as you, which is fine.
mm, no,
But
absolutely.
but yeah, the Batman Forever Elliot Goldenthal theme. All right. Well, that brings me to number 3. And my number 3, I am also going with the Batman 66 TV theme.
Nice. See, it's got to be in there.
Yeah, it's iconic. Um, so like you said, written by Neil Hefti, but I was confused because on my soundtrack it says Nelson Riddle, and it's because Nelson Riddle did it for the album and also for the movie. So it's weird because like Hefti did the original and then Nelson Riddle did the others. So I was confused. Regardless, it's like I it's 2025 and that song is still associated with Batman
Mm-hmm.
by people who've never seen the show, by people who
Yep.
might not even know the show existed. They somehow still know that theme. It's like baked into pop culture. And part of it's my fault with Harley because when when she was learning to talk, that's what I taught her. Na 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 na, and she would go Batman. Like, and I
Yep.
taught her that. She doesn't know where it came from. She doesn't know why it goes that way, but she knows it. And I don't think I'm alone. And so it's funny because people to this day still know da 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 Batman. They just know it. Um, and not to mention all that aside, if you just listen to it, it's catchy as hell. I'll be damned if I'm not going to jam along to that. So it's iconic, it's historic, and how many TV theme songs have that kind of staying power?
Yeah.
Very, very few. Um, So yeah, that's a pretty amazing feat, and it's I think it's one of the best Batman pieces of music, even if it's silly.
You know, um, special mention to Nelson Riddle for the theme for the 66 movie too, because that theme's a hell of a lot of fun. And not once in that movie is the no, 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 no. It's not in there at
Mm-hmm.
all. It's got its own theme and own score. And it's a damn good song too, just
Yeah.
quietly.
Yeah. It's very cool. So yeah, I love that. We both got the classic na 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 Batman in our list.
Absolutely.
You've got to.
We'd be terrible Batman fans if we didn't.
Well, all right. I guess that brings us to number 2.
Number 2 for me is the. It's hard to choose like one piece of music because there's not really just the Dark Knight Rises theme. It's sort of a theme that just carries across a lot of different pieces of music. To me, it always comes back to like a dog chasing cars. Like to me, that is the theme of those 3 films.
Mm-hmm.
I can never remember. It's like Molossus or something because the Batman Begins soundtrack had those weird track names.
Yes.
And I think it's Molossus.
Oh yeah, Molasses is the jam on Batman Begins.
Yeah, and then to me, it sort of ups the ante in the Dark Knight with like a dog chasing cars, and then in Dark Knight Rises, to me, anytime the theme came in, it was just a riff on like a dog chasing cars.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the one I revert back to when it comes to a theme for the Dark Knight trilogy, and I mean it's it, it it's such a good piece of music. It's one of my favorite piece of score. Period. Only surpassed by one. Shock horror. But yeah, it's such a damn good theme. And I mean I still um like some sporting broadcasts over here, like when they're running through like the team lineup and stuff like that, they'll have that theme playing under their commentary and stuff like that. And it's such a damn good piece of music, period. And it just so happens to be, you know, a Batman piece of music. So yeah, the theme slash themes from the Dark Knight trilogy.
Well, that's good. So what I will do is I will put that underneath this entire podcast
Okay.
as background music,
And we'll
if that's
pretend it's
cool.
2014.
Yeah, yeah. I did go back and listen to the Warner Brothers tour
Yep.
after our last episode, and yeah, sure enough, I had background music. I'm an idiot. I know. I hate it.
But it
But
was so good because you guys talking about all the BVS gossip was
yes,
was so
yeah,
good in
yeah.
hindsight.
It was fun to go back, and I realized. So we did that episode. Sorry, guys, little tangent, but it's okay. We got time.
Yeah, we're
Yeah, we
churning
did
through this list.
what?
I said we're churning through this
I
list.
know we're going quick, so it's fine. On our Batman Experiences episode, I talked about us going on the Warner Brothers tour, and it was us all going together, Batman fans, and there was like one other couple, and it was great to go back and listen to get additional context. But I realized I mixed up 2 memories because we did that on a Saturday. When I realized when I went back and listened, we did that on a Saturday, and then on our episode, I said, "Oh, we played hooky from work. We left
Yeah,
work
I
early."
thought of that.
And do you know why? Is because there was another time, and this was when they were bringing in the BVS Batmobile to the WB lot. And my friend who was working there goes, you need to come over here because they're bringing the Batmobile on the lot. And that was when we left work early to go watch them drive the Batmobile onto the lot. So
Nice.
I mixed up two different times of being on the WB lot. So I wanted to apologize because, but isn't it sad when you realize you can't trust your own memories?
Yeah, and I didn't realize too. I mean, it's probably come up in the last however many years you went. No, I bet 9 years we've been doing this. Since I joined the team, but that you were at the event where they filmed for the Batman documentary on the Dark Knight Rises DVD set, where they had all the Batmobiles at that.
Yeah.
Like, was it
Yeah.
a hot dog joint or something? Like,
No, it was Bob's Big Boy.
Big Boy. That's right. That's
Bob's
right.
Big Boy. Yeah, right there in Burbank.
Yeah, that just watching the footage of that still is amazing. So it would have been so cool being there.
Yeah, it was so fun to listen because again, what I was impressed is aside from getting the days wrong, all of my memories of us on that tour were all pretty consistent. And I was like, oh, good. Like at least I remembered everything we saw. I just remembered I forgot which day we did it. But anyway, that was really fun.
Yeah, and when they mentioned about you going to that Big Boy thing, I was listening to it. I'm just like, how was that not one of your experiences?
And what's crazy about that is that was an accident.
Oh, really?
I didn't know it was happening. I was driving and saw a Batmobile coming down the street. And so I did a Yui, followed the Batmobiles, and they all pulled into the Big Boy. So I parked and sat there and watched them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That, talk about a happy accident. Jesus.
Right? Yeah, you see a Batmobile going down the street, you're like, wait a minute, what's happening here?
And then you see four of them.
Right? So sorry for the tangent there, but speaking about the background music reminded me. But anyway, I understand your struggle with the Dark Knight trilogy and like loving the music and loving the theme while also finding it hard to nail down the theme.
Yeah.
Which I get. Because what's funny is Molasses isn't really that theme. Molasses is sort of the Batmobile chase music, but it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really the theme you're thinking of. If you were to go listen to them back to back, which I'll be honest, I just did as we were chatting because I wanted to clarify. But all of those soundtracks are a little frustrating because the music is amazing. It's gorgeous. I love it. Like, I'm not saying anything bad about the music, but it is ordered strangely and it is titled strangely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to find the musical beats that you want to find based on where they are in the album and the name of the track. And that annoys the shit out of me.
Yes, agreed.
And it's true for all three of them. So FYI, but I totally hear what you're saying because my number 2 is also the theme from the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
And what I consider the theme of the Dark Knight trilogy is that music that plays when the title comes up at the end.
Yep.
Dun, 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 dun. That it's that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that is essentially the same piece of music in all three films. But what's crazy again is it's shockingly hard to find on the soundtracks.
Yeah.
It's woven in there, but for whatever reason, the soundtracks don't include the end credits suite. And so you don't get that moment, even though you get it in the films.
The closest is in The Dark Knight Rises with Rise.
Yes. Yeah. And also the collector's edition of the Dark Knight soundtrack, there is an extra track there called A Watchful Guardian, and it's there.
Okay.
So crazily enough, you have to get the expanded edition to get that track, which is weird. But anyway, point is, it's hard to find the exact track for that music, but as a Batman fan exactly the music I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was nothing like sitting in the theater for all three of those movies. And it's a Christopher Nolan thing where he loves giving you the title at the end, but when that title came up and that music kicked in, and it's beautiful. And for the first two films, it was Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard, and then Hans Zimmer did the third film solo. It's a pretty safe bet that Hans Zimmer did that theme since it's consistent. But you got to give credit, got to put some respect on James Newton Howard's name too, because he did the first two. But yeah, that music, it's like so cool. It's so energetic. It's like so driving. It just has this like propulsive energy that I love about it. And yeah, like when it would kick in at the end, man, it just gave you that extra jolt of energy as you walked out of the theater. Freaking love it. And it's so good. You know it's good because when I rewatch the films and that starts with the credits, I can't turn them off. I have to sit there and
go the whole credit. Yep.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
And I only do that with certain movies. I do it with the Dark Knight trilogy. I do it with Pirates of the Caribbean because the end credit music of all of those movies is amazing. And Lord of the Rings. Like those are the ones where I'm like, no, I have to sit here and watch the credits because I love the music so much.
Do you know a movie that I do it with?
James Bond 18, Octopussy.
No. That was Tomorrow Never Dies too. No, it's the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's good. I like that. That works.
Gotta get all that turtle power in, man. And then 9.95. Come on.
Oh, 9.95. That was my jam.
It's a jam, isn't it?
That's a great jam. All right, no, it's a good choice. But yeah, like the Dark Knight trilogy theme. And yeah, I think there's even like a little wiggle room in there because they never said this is the theme. But again, for me, it's that end credits music.
Yeah. And I guess that's why I went like a Dog Chasing Cars, because that end
is in there.
It's in there. You know what I mean? It's in there. Yeah.
Yeah, it totally is in like a Dog Chasing Cars for sure.
I don't know why they had to make it so hard for us, but anyway.
Yeah, I know. Because again, we had a whole hour to prep for this, and I'm sitting there with Harley. She's watching freaking Disney Channel, and I'm on my phone with my phone up to my ear, just trying to find the right moment in one of the Dark Knight trilogy soundtracks to find what I'm looking for.
I'll still never forget finding that soundtrack for the first time. It was in a HMV, so you know it was 20 years ago. And
what's an HMV?
Big music store, HMV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
have them in America.
I don't think we did. We at least didn't. We didn't have them where I lived.
Okay, because I know they were big here, big in the UK, and when I was in Canada in 2014, there was still some in Canada. So I just assumed they might have been in America too. Anyway, yeah, and like picking up the Batman Begins soundtrack and looking at the track list and just thinking, what the is this?
Like, what the hell's going on?
What do these titles mean? Like, what?
Yep.
Such a weird choice.
Yep, I know. Well, you know, like they're all different. They're like, I think it's like Latin for different breeds of bats.
Okay, that I didn't know.
Yeah. And if you look at the way they're spelled out, a bunch of the titles spell out Batman.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm looking. Yeah, so starting with track 4, the first letter of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The first letter spell out Batman.
Well, there you go. And, you know,
you learned something new today.
My bad for being rusty on Latin back in 2005.
Yeah, I know. How dare you dummy. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows what a molasses bat is. Come on.
Sure.
Well, all right. I guess that takes us to number 1.
Yep.
Can't imagine what it might be.
I mean, it's Danny Elfman. Of course it is.
Yeah, that was easy.
I mean, I can't even think of a funny joke to make. It's like, of course it's Elfman. No shit. Like, it's all these years on. Like, it's still the defining Batman theme. Then, there's been all these other ones that we've talked about. Dark Knight Batman and the Batman, and you know, animated. Like animated movies out the wazoo and everything. Like, it still comes back to Elfman. Like, it's still the theme. And I don't think I don't mean it's like the Christopher Reeve Superman theme. I don't think there's going to be another piece of music that pairs with the character as well as that theme. There can be different interpretations and ones that are damn good, like we've just talked about 4 of them.
Mhm.
But then I don't think there's ever going to be one that is as perfect as that Elfman theme.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, agreed all around. What I wanted to do for this episode is I wanted my number 5 to be the Batman theme from The Flash.
So you could bookend it with Keaton?
Because they use the Danny Elfman theme.
Yes.
And then my number 4 would be the Batman theme from Justice League 2017.
Yes. Yeah. I was nearly going to say that, but when we got to number 1, it's like it's the Justice League theme.
And then my number 3, Batman the Animated Series. And then number 2, Batman Returns. And then number 1 is Batman.
Look, I'd have been fine with it.
Okay, great. But I mean, yeah, it's the Batman theme. Like I'm sorry, like it just is. Rarely has music and character gone together as perfectly as Danny Elfman's theme for Batman, except for maybe John Williams' Superman.
Yeah.
It's just, what John Williams did with Superman and give him such a distinctive sound that when you hear it, you go, that's Superman. Danny Elfman did the exact same thing for Batman in 1989. And at the time, Warner Brothers didn't want Danny Elfman to write the score for Batman because he was pretty
weird from Oingo Boingo.
He was from Oingo Boingo. He did Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He did Beetlejuice. And so they were like, is this really the guy who's going to be able to give us the music for Batman? And boy, did he shut them up in a hurry. And he created a theme for a character that is immortal. It'll live forever.
Timeless. Absolutely.
Yep. So it's the easiest choice you'll make because what a magnificent piece of music. And last year when I got to see it performed live by a live orchestra, so awesome, so magical.
I hate you.
I mean, the whole score live was just wonderful. But yeah, that piece of music is just one of my favorite pieces of music of any type ever. That's why when I got Danny Elfman's autograph, I wanted it on the sheet music for the Batman theme, and that's what's up on my wall right now.
That's awesome. You remember what happened with me seeing it live, don't you?
It got canceled.
Yep. It was this big tour. It was touring the whole country.
It's
I don't know if it was poor ticket sales or something happened to the promoter, but yeah, like 3 or so weeks before I was meant to go, I got an email from Ticketek saying your ticket's being refunded. It's been cancelled, and I was gutted. Absolutely
That's so
gutted.
crazy.
Yep. So I didn't get to see it, and I'm still hurting because of that.
Yeah, that is so crazy to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'll go listen to my blue vinyl. It's fine.
I would take you.
Yeah, I know.
If I could.
Oh, well.
Well, it was awesome, not to, add insult to injury. So take some comfort in knowing that I had a great time.
I will. That makes it so much better.
Good. But yeah, I mean, like the Elfman theme is amazing. It's immortal, and it is that double-edged sword where, much like the Williams Superman theme, that like it is, everyone knows it as the sound of Batman. And so, you know, they keep going back to it, and you know, some fans don't love that, and you know, I see both sides, because it's like, yeah, like I get it, you want to do your own thing, but also like, you know, like everyone knows that,
Mm.
you know, which is honestly is the Justice League debate, right? Where Joss was like, you know, I'll bring back Danny Elfman, he can do his Batman theme. I get why he did that. I don't think it really worked, but I know why he did it. I did have on my honorable mentions for a second the Junkie XL Batman theme, not from BVS, but from Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Because there he gave us a pretty good Batman theme, but the reason it didn't make the list is like, I it's not super memorable, but it was nice.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think the thing that added to this theme being the sound of Batman for a generation as well is the fact that they used it again for the animated series. Like,
yeah.
you know, it that really, I think, cemented it, because it wasn't just because I remember the first episode of the animated series I ever watched. Like, I couldn't believe that the opening credits were using the theme from the movie. You know,
Mhm.
not exactly the same, but it's essentially the same. Because that just didn't happen back then. Like, you know, it was that's from the movie. Like, can they do that? You know, and it did because it was used across two different types of media. That really, to me, is what cemented it as okay. This isn't the theme from that movie or slash movies. This is the theme.
Well, I think you're right. And it even went further than that. Because if you think about, okay, Batman 1989, massive hit, that score became synonymous with Batman. So
Mm-hmm.
much so that it returned, even though it was reorchestrated, it returned in the sequel, Batman Returns. That same year, it was used in the cartoon. And so from 1989 to 1994, if you saw Batman for 5 years, if you saw Batman in animation, in live action, in a toy commercial, in a cereal commercial, in a Six Flags theme park, it's the Danny Elfman score.
Absolutely. I mean, look, they used it in the trailer for Forever.
Well, and that's where I was going. Even for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, for both of them, they used the Danny Elfman music for the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And so even though the movies had their own new theme, people were still hearing Danny Elfman associated with these movies. And so, yeah, like it just, everyone was using it, and it just got baked in with the character. And again, rightfully so, because it's just, when you hear it, you're like, yeah, that's Batman. To the point where subsequent versions, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Giacchino version, the Junkie XL version, even when you listen to those, you go, oh, they made a new theme. They're still kind of reminiscent of the Elfman theme,
Mm-hmm.
because people just know that's the sound of Batman now.
Yep.
And that's not throwing shade at anyone involved in that. But again,
Oh
like it
God,
just,
no.
that theme just became so much the sound of Batman that even when people do new themes, it, you know, it's a bit of a riff on it. And that's okay. So
No.
yeah, that's just yeah, it's an amazing theme. I
It's
think
the
it's one
law,
of
guys. It's just that's just how it
yeah,
is.
just how it goes. So yeah, just iconic and legendary music theme by Danny Elfman, writing for Batman. Amazing.
We did it.
Number one, least surprising number one of all time.
Yep, number one with a bullet in Crime Alley.
Yep. 2 bullets. One for you, one for me, one
Yep,
for Thomas, one for Martha.
some pearls and some popcorn, and we're all good.
Yep. So, all right. So you had The Brave and the Bold, the TV theme from Batman 66, the Elliot Goldenthal theme from the Schumacher films, the Dark Knight theme, essentially from the track Like a Dog Chasing Cars, and then finally Danny Elfman.
Mm-hmm.
And I had Mask of the Phantasm, the Batman, Batman 66, the Dark Knight theme, and then also Danny Elfman. Good list. Good list.
Yeah. No complaints.
Everyone's homework is to make a little playlist of these tracks and just listen and soak in all the Batman goodness.
And think of us.
Yeah. I mentioned a couple of my honorable mentions, like the Edge's theme for the Batman. I really do like that. The Junkie XL, what's his name? Tom Hulkenberg?
Yeah, that's
Is
it.
that right? His theme for Justice League. There were a couple in there that didn't, Brave and the Bold, you mentioned, but you called that one out. So those are a couple that I almost had on my list. What about you? Any others that you felt bad about leaving out?
Not so much. It was just more trying to pick an animated version. Like, and this is the thing. I know from memory, there's been some really good themes in the animated films as well, but there's just so many of them that
Mm-hmm.
I can't like think of one specifically that jumps out. And like I said, we had like an hour's notice. If I had a couple of days, like I may have gone through Spotify and like listened to all of them to pick one. But yeah, there's no real ones that I'm sad that I don't have.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about our list. A couple other honorable mentions though. Batman Beyond. Again, even though you and I are not the biggest Batman
Oh, the
Beyond
theme's
fans,
cool.
it's a pretty cool theme. So that one's definitely worth noting because that's one I feel like people would write in and be like, Batman Beyond, guys, is a banger. And I get that. Like you said, a lot of the animated movies have good ones, but they don't always jump out as the most memorable. But, I remember the score for The Dark Knight Returns being really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily sure about a theme. I'd have to go back and listen, but I just remember that score being pretty good. And then, yeah, I mean, I know Batman Returns, I didn't include it because it's essentially 89. It's a lot more, I think, dramatic and eerie than 89. So it's not
Yeah.
exactly the same, but like it was close enough. I didn't want to make it a separate one, but I'll give a shout out now because I do love the Batman Returns version too.
Yep. No, the is it Journey of a Penguin, or sort of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
opening titles for Batman Returns. Awesome.
Yeah. Really good. Just like sadder. It's like, it's the Batman theme, but like
Yes.
sadder and more dramatic.
Yeah.
Uh, anyway, well, cool. There you go. Some good Batman music themes, guys. It's always fun to turn that on, listen to it while you read some comics or whatever. All right. Good job, Brendan.
Oh, mate, look what I can do in an hour.
See? Oh my God. Amazing. I love it. Cool, cool, cool. Well, good stuff to listen to. Good chat. And we do have a couple emails. So why don't we check in with you, fine feather finks, and crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox? It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Derek. What is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. Says all Master Wayne.
All right, the first email here is from Weston Craig. It says, "Hey guys, I went to the WB studio tour 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to mention some of the new things that I saw. The suits from the Batman and the Batmobile from the Batman were there. I didn't like the Batmobile in the movie, but it actually looked pretty cool in person. Of course, the Tumbler and the Batman 89 Batmobile were there. There were some cool suits from Wonder Woman, Shazam, and Aquaman. Ben Affleck's suit from Justice League was there, but not the one from BVS. The Penguin and Riddler suits from the Batman were also there. Man of Steel stuff was still there. Overall, it was still a really great experience. The workers were all excited about the new Superman movie coming out. They kept assuring me that if I come back after the press tour and advertising for the movie were done, there would be a new section of the exhibit for the Superman movie and potentially lanterns. Did you hear about the new Marvel DC crossover coming out this year? Which characters would you like to see meet each other in the crossover?" Weston. Thanks, Weston. How cool that you went so recently. Very fun. I love that they constantly update it. Very cool that there was recent stuff there, but at least some cool stuff from, 89, the Dark Knight trilogy, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and then also the recent stuff with the Batman. Very cool. Hope you had a great time. Sounds fun. It's been a while since I've been there, so I am having a little bit of FOMO. As for the new Marvel DC crossover, I did hear about it. I'll be honest, though, I didn't read any details, so I don't know how many issues. Like I don't know the story or even if they've said it. I just knew that I know there's a new Marvel DC crossover coming to comics soon. That's all I know. Brendan, what about you?
I mean, I saw the news articles and everything just like you did. I mean, I've never read the other ones from the 90s. So I mean, I don't know enough about the Marvel comic side of things to really care. You know, I don't know if that sounds bad or not, but yeah.
The ones from the 90s are fun. But the biggest mistake they made, in my opinion, is letting the fans decide who would win each fight.
Yeah.
Because the fights are terrible because I feel like the fans picked wrong on like everyone. So like it was just I don't know. I found it very unsatisfying to see how those battles turned out because of that. But that aside, it was lots of fun.
Like I do have, I think there would be like prestige format comics, like the little standalone issues of Batman and Daredevil, and I think there was 2 Spider-Man ones from memory I've got.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I have, and like a Stan Lee's Batman and stuff. Like I've got those. So as far as DC Marvel crossovers as comics go, like I feel like I don't need to sort of delve into things more than that.
That's fair. I mean, I'll probably check out the new one because I like fun. That's fine. But again, I have no idea what the approach is, nothing. But hey, what the hell? Why the hell not? But let's just say clean slate, Brendan. Any thoughts or wish lists for Marvel DC crossovers?
Man, I haven't given it a second's thought. Hey, like I just saw the article and was like, okay, fair enough. I honestly, I really don't have an answer. Having not read the other ones,
That's how little you care about Marvel.
well, yeah, kind of. Like I just, yeah, I got nothing. Can't add to
Okay,
the
well,
conversation. Sorry.
well, I would match them up as like um almost like doppelgangers or of similar flavors. So maybe it's just because I have Daredevil on the mind because the new show just came out. But like Batman and Daredevil, I think would be a really fun team up and would make a lot of sense. And I feel like Superman and Captain America would be a great team up and would make a lot of sense, especially because in the 90s they didn't do it that way.
Okay, see that's what I was thinking, but I didn't. I thought that might be too obvious.
I mean, it is, but it's fine because like in the 90s, because they were all going to fight, they had to put them with like similar power levels.
Okay,
So I want to say it was like Superman versus the Hulk because they're both so strong. And it was Batman versus Captain America because they're both the peak of human condition. And so it wasn't about personalities, it was about power set.
right. Okay.
And so for this one, I would say do personalities, like team up Batman and Daredevil, team up Superman and Captain America. I'm trying to think like who would be a good Spider-Man and the Flash or something. I don't know, like or Spider-Man and Robin, or Nightwing, something like that.
That'd be good.
Yeah, like I mean, Aquaman and Namor is really on the nose, so maybe you can do better. But just because it was fresh, because they're both the water guys. I don't know, it could be kind of fun. Or you know what, like Aquaman and Human Torch might even be more fun, something like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was gonna say Shazam and Thor, but I feel like that was the 90s. I feel like they did that with the 90s. So how about like Wonder Woman and Thor? They're both gods on Earth that are super strong. So yeah.
Interesting.
Like I'd like to see the Joker and the Green Goblin cause some chaos. Like that would be fun.
That'd be cool.
So anyway, yeah, that's just off the top of my head, but that's what I got for now.
Cool. You got more than I do.
All right. Who should Gambit hang out with? Because Gambit and Batman are my 2 favorites, so maybe it should just be them. But
Just do that.
yeah.
Who's Blue Devil going to hang out with? Maybe Gambit and Blue Devil.
Oh.
Sorry.
All right, that's it for now. Next one is from our old pal Tom Fallows. It says, "Hey guys, I'm loving the podcast as always. I just finished watching The Penguin, and although I like the ending, it still baffles me that we only got a mention of Batman at the beginning and then at the end of the series. I know Matt Reeves said he wanted to focus on Gotham from a criminal standpoint, but we saw at the beginning of the Batman, criminals tend to wonder where Batman is in the shadows. Despite that, I like the show, and it has me wondering, why have we not had a Batman live-action TV show? Superman has had 5 TV shows, if you include The Adventures of Superboy. But why hasn't Batman had one since the 60s? To be honest, I'd be happy if the Reeves-verse became the Batman TV universe and Brave and the Bold, the movies. What do you think? Would you like to see a live-action Batman series along with the movies? Have a good podcast, Tom." Thanks, Tom. Well, Brendan, you've already been reacting, so why don't you share your thoughts?
Well, I think he's forgetting, Birds of Prey, Batwoman, Gotham, and was it Gotham Knights? I mean, hello,
That's, you know what? You just named 4.
there's 4 right there.
And kind of Titans.
Kind of, yes.
I mean, they're all kind of. So yes, Titans counts.
So, I mean, it's money. They want to save their big character for the big screen, and I mean, we're definitely at a period in time where I think that's very much an old way of thinking. You look at things like Game of Thrones and what else are some of the big HBO show? I mean, Game of Thrones is obviously the go-to, but it's like in terms of the pop culture zeitgeist and stuff like that, like they have, Stranger Things, they have just as much, cut through as movies. They for Game of Thrones and stuff like that, where they were doing the weekly episodes and things like that, like it was essentially a movie every week, and people would be talking about it nonstop. And I think they can definitely do that with Batman. And I think it was on an episode that we did a couple of months ago or something, where we were trying to solve the Batman conundrum of what do you do, and we used the Penguin as, the Penguin was a damn good TV show, and I say that as someone, I didn't love the Batman movie. I think move Reeves over to HBO and give it the Game of Thrones style treatment, and finish out that story that way. That way you get to have your cake and eat it too. Like, he gets to be separate from the gun universe and tell his story the way he wants to. And, we get Batman every week for, however many episodes usually in a series like that, say 8 or 9, 8 to 10. It's the best part of 3 months of new Batman content every week, as opposed to, a movie which will have cut through for a couple of months and then, your DVD, Blu-ray release and stuff like that. But TV is a different beast these days. It's not all network television, as we know. Like, it's streaming and long form storytelling and stuff like that. So it's beyond time that there is a legit Batman TV show on our screens.
Yeah, it is crazy because, we all know why. It's because they're under this belief that, if you give away Batman for free on TV, then the movies are going to be.
But that's the thing, they're not now, because it's subscription services. They have to pay for it.
I'm sure, but so streaming service continue to hemorrhage money while movies at least still make money. So,
we heard how much Netflix have paid for that new Russo brothers film. What do you mean hemorrhaging money? Come on.
It's nuts. But that's what they believe. To your point, though, like when there's a gap between Superman films, they have no problem doing a Superman show, but they don't do the same for Batman. And I don't know if it's because there's always a Batman film in development, so like they know the breaks won't be long enough, whereas Superman, they know they're taking a break. I don't know. But to your point, Brendan, it's an old way of thinking. Like, I don't think that is accurate anymore. And as you and I talked about not that long ago, and I think it might have come up again with me and Jamie last week when we talked about the updates for the DC studios, is that it does feel like the best solution for everyone is to let the Reeves verse continue on HBO or Max. And that way he can make essentially what story he wants to tell in Batman 2 or 3 in a miniseries or two miniseries, 2 seasons of a miniseries or whatever, continue telling his story in his world. And then the Brave and the Bold becomes the big screen Batman. And then, you kind of have your cake and eat it too. And in theory, everyone can be happy. Like if the Penguin is considered a big success with the viewership that it got on Max or on HBO, Batman would only be bigger than that. So you would think that therefore that would also be considered a big success on TV because it would actually include Batman. But then you don't run the issue of having two concurrent big screen franchises happening.
And something I just thought of while you were talking is, what has been Warner Brothers' highest earning franchise for the last quarter of a century? Harry Potter. What are they doing with Harry Potter?
Yeah.
It's taking it to television.
Yeah, that's valid. That's very valid.
So why can't you do it for Batman?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense anymore.
No, that's true. I mean, there's obviously got to be some value in it. And again, this is a way that you can keep both going in a way that makes sense, but also remove some of the just inherent competition or confusion that might happen if the Batman Part 2 comes out in 2 years and then the Brave and the Bold comes out a year after that.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever it ends up being, like that is going to cause some weirdness. But if you go, well, you know what? Reeves is going to do his stuff on Max and Brave and the Bold becomes the new big screen franchise. It's cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there had to have been profit in Game of Thrones to go for 8 seasons. And to your point, Harry Potter. I mean, yeah, like my God. So I guess what we're saying, Tom, is we agree. We don't understand either. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
I mean, I know times have changed from this as well, but I mean, the first 3 or 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, I was still working in music and movie retail at the time. And I mean, they sold like you would not believe. Like people who don't normally buy shit would be coming in and just buying the Blu-ray copies of Game of Thrones because it was that big of a pop culture phenomenon that, people, not only did they watch it, they wanted to own it. And yeah, I mean, there's money there as well. So
yeah, very true. Especially because they're happy to put Batman everywhere else because they know it sells,
Mm-hmm.
They're happy to have Bat Wheels and they're happy to have Batman Cape Crusader and they're happy to have the Batman, games and so if you're going to use the character, which is the most valuable character they have in every other medium, why is this one thing where you draw the line?
Yeah.
Silliness. All right. Well, there you go. I don't think we answered anything, but we share your frustration.
Well, we've solved the problem. It's just that the people who make the decisions won't listen to us.
Yeah, they don't care.
No.
But yeah, I mean, it just makes the most sense in my opinion, and so who knows? All right, we're closing the Wayne Manor mailbox. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox for next time, you can send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. But Brendan, there you go. Nice and quick tonight. Thanks for joining. Glad we did this.
I'm glad I was able to join. Glad I'm not, blacked out with, the roof blowing off my house.
Thank God. Much better to prepare, and now you've got some spare time to talk to me about Batman.
Mate, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, love it. Well, where else can people find you these days?
You can find me on Letterboxd, Lowy007, or getting around in the Real Fans groups on Facebook.
as usual.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I already told you guys where to find me, but thank you as always for joining us. Please do follow or subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Something else you can do for us that would help us out, doesn't cost a penny, is just rate and review us. A nice positive rating goes a long way and really means a lot. So we would love that. Please do it. Doesn't cost a penny. Just takes a second or two out of your day, and that would be awesome. Again, find the show on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, that email address again is holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaur Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. And don't forget to check out our friends over at Magic Mind. If that is something you want to try and incorporate into your daily routine, go to magicmind.com/holybatcast20 or just use holybatcast20 when you're checking out. But that'll do it. On behalf of Brendan, I've been Andy. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
Maybe Gambit and Blue Devil.
Don't do that to me.
Sorry.
Well, okay, that's what we got for now.
Jesus Christ.
All right.
Next email. Let's move on.